What's up, guys? Jake with Team Tactical here. Um, just wanted to make a video giving my thoughts on the whole Charlie Kirk thing. I wanted to wait a day before I actually started talking about my thoughts on the unending of Charlie Kirk. Of course, now if you've been around YouTube for a while, you know you have to be careful with your words. So if I say things kind of weird in this video, understand it's not because I'm worried about getting demonetized or anything. I don't really care if I make any money on this video. I'm trying to watch my words because I don't want my whole channel to get shadow banned for speaking my free mind. So, like many of you guys, I was completely shocked at the events that unfolded, and I was even more shocked by the actual video uncensored itself. And it, I mean, I've been on the internet for a long time. You know, I've seen all the crazy stuff on the internet, on all the websites that used to host these videos of people getting, stuff happening to them. So I've seen a lot, but even despite having that insensitivity to it, actually seeing this unfold to someone who's pretty well known in the world, it really hit different. Like it was shocking. It was horrible, and it was terrible. Um, didn't want to make a quick reactionary view of it because honestly, I just felt that was almost disrespectful. Not trying to monetize it or guard the views. I just wanted to give it time to set, let people say what they're going to say, and then just now give you my thoughts on it. It's crazy. It's crazy and it's really messed up. And I think that Charlie Kirk is essentially, this incident is kind of like a canary in the coal mine situation. Now, if you're not familiar with that analogy, what that simply implies is when you work in a coal mine, sometimes there's toxic gases or things leaking. And back in the day, miners used to actually carry a canary with them. So that way, if the canary started freaking out, or in worst case scenario died, that would be a quick heads up to all the miners there working that, hey, they need to get out of there because clearly there's something dangerous that's possibly being breathed in and such. So I really feel that this whole situation is almost like a canary in the coal mine situation. It sets a weird precipice, like we've seen so many, like in the past month, so many of these incidences happening with the trans that did another school event, that hurt a lot of people. We saw the recent, just not even a week ago, the recent, bus incident where the Ukrainian lady got stabbed multiple times, and everyone around her just watched, or didn't even watch. They didn't even care. They didn't even pay attention. And then we had this incident with Charlie Kirk, who was literally just speaking his mind. If you don't know who he is, which I'm sure you do at this point, if you've been watching and paying attention, if you don't know who he is, he essentially would just go to different college campuses around the nation and just debate people. If you're a little bit older like me, I'm 38, you may recognize that style from Steven Crowder with Change My Mind that he used to do. Very similar format, and that's essentially what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was like the next generation of that. Some people would make claims that he was like this and that, using all those magical words that the left likes to use. But based on the clips and everything that I've seen of his past debates and stuff, I didn't really get that impression. Now, I wasn't the biggest follower of him. I never watched really any of his full videos. I just got the little clips like most people probably have. And I knew who he was. I knew who his face was. I mean, they freaking make a South Park episode this season with him in there, his character essentially in there. So he became a really well known person in our pop culture society these days. So to see that happen to him, I mean, you can't even speak your mind these days without these crazy people doing something. And that's what these recent incidences, the trans school thing, the bus Ukrainian girl thing, and the Charlie Kirk thing, that's what these three things all have in common. They all involve crazy people. Every one of them. And nothing is being done about it. They keep wanting to say, oh, it's all about the guns. It's all about firearms and having more regulation. But, I mean, well, like the stabbing, for example, you can't regulate that, at least not yet. Europe you can. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's just, we have a problem in this country. It is a mental problem. People like to blame video games. RFK, I just saw an article saying today that RFK is blaming video games for the all the violence that's been happening lately, and I disagree. I don't think it has anything to do with video games. I really think it has to do with social media and the gaslighting and the when you gas people up. That's the term people use, where you ag these people on. I feel like social media and mainstream media have been gassing people up, and some of these people that get gassed up they're a little crazy, and these are the ones that get set off to go and do this thing. People like Gavin Newsom, who runs his mouth talking about this and that, and then he wants to later on say, "Oh, we need to turn the temperature down, guys. We need to turn the temperature down." Motherfucker, you're the one that actually started this. As Donut Operator said on Twitter or X, you bred this kind of thing. And these people on the left like to act like they don't know. Oh, it's just a gun safety thing, gun control. And the funny thing about this most recent incident is we still, at least right now, as far as I know, we still don't know who the actual person is that did the thing. We don't know. I'm just going to double check that right now. It is 7:40 p.m. And they have released images of some guy with a black hoodie, jeans. We don't know who this guy is. But the funny thing about it is they had someone else in custody, an older gentleman, who claimed he did it. And now it's like, no, it turns out not to be true, maybe. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe he's an accomplice. I don't know. But I do think that if you are claiming to have done something like this, something politically motivated like this, I think, this is just my opinion, I think that gentleman, for example, that made the false claim that he was the one that did it, he should be arrested for, what's it called, impediment of justice? Because he's essentially throwing like a red herring out there and saying, oh yeah, it's me. And then they look over here, it's me. They arrest him, and somewhere else the shooter, whoever, is getting away. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense why they just let that guy go and there wasn't any kind of punishment. He should have been held responsible for something, or at least don't let him go. Keep him for questioning, at least. Interview him. It's just, that's, for some reason, I guess that's not how the system works. I don't know. I just, it's crazy. And just now, I believe this evening, there was some sort of another event at a school that involves someone, a boy, a teenager, whatever, with a revolver that went into his school and unalived 3 or 4 people, including himself. I'm just skimming the article. I'm not going into all the details because I really don't care at this point. But the point I'm trying to make is we've got a problem. And I think the Charlie Kirk situation we now have, well, this sounds like a terrible pun, but I do think it is a turning point for our society. He's a martyr. And I think there's going to be more Charlie Kirks in the future that rise up in his place. So many people I know have been affected by this. I literally saw a thing downtown that was like prayers for Charlie Kirk or prayers for the Kirk family, something like that. It's happening everywhere. I live kind of a smaller town too in East Tennessee. I mean, this is shocking to say the least. And while I agree with some people that say that maybe it shouldn't be as shocking as, say, a school event that happens, because those are young, innocent children, a lot of times get hurt in those cases. I mean, let's be honest, guys. We know how people are. It really takes something like this, so profound, so clear cut, so obvious that he was literally just speaking his mind and someone wanted to silence him. Something like this, I think, is what it really takes to really bring about a significant change in our society and the standards that we keep. So I agree with the sentiment, though, that none of these events are okay. They're all messed up. And I hate it. And while not ever having really watched a full clip of Charlie Kirk's content, I would assume, at least, that based on his stance about God and country and family, that he would probably agree with that statement, that this is not okay. That this whole situation we're in, it's got to stop. And while being a content creator, rather a smaller content creator, don't have a huge following, but as someone who likes to review firearms and stuff, I kind of keep in the back of my mind, what if somebody were to see one of my videos and maybe get ideas to go and do something like this? And while I can't even imagine what some people like Brandon Herrera are going through, I can at least say that, well, I think everyone should be allowed the Second Amendment. I do think that we really do need some kind of reform for mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like some better system in place, not like government overreach. I don't want government overreach, but just when you have these people that are clearly showing signs of being potentially able to do something like one of these tragedies, I almost feel like that we do need to pay attention. I'm not in favor of red flag laws. Please do not twist what I'm saying. Okay? I'm not. I think they're terrible, and that's not what I'm saying. I hate them. I'm not even beginning to even suggest that. I think the issue is the social media aspect of this all. You know what I'm saying? The big, the excitement that happens on mainstream media when one of these events happens, and everyone reports it, and everyone's watching, and views are going up for them, so they're sensationalizing it. That's the word, sensationalizing all these events. That's the problem between mainstream media and social media. Those two things, they need to be held to some extent responsible, as well as some of these Congress people that are calling for these acts to be done. Of course, metaphorically, they always say that, but that they're the ones that are stirring the pot as well. And you see it when people celebrate stuff like what's happened with Charlie Kirk. And you see it happening over and over with every single Christian school that has one of these events happen, or someone that is even in the slightest conservative, which I think he was like a moderate far right. I don't know what he was. I know that would be too far right for any of them, but I don't think he was like crazy. I mean, he was just, again, speaking his mind. If you can't speak your mind in the United States, then what do we have? What do you call that? I would call that not any kind of republic or democracy or anything. I would call that to be true fascism. when you have people that are trying to take you out for speaking your mind. Sorry, that's my wife in the other room if you hear that. Um, I just I just want to make this video. I know it's a lot different than what I typically do, but I want to speak my mind to you. You know, it's crazy, and I think we got to do something about it. So, just tell me what you guys think. What are your thoughts on this? I'm not trying to like garner views or clicks or comments. Am I kind of like out of pocket with this, with what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I'm kind of speaking here in my room by myself, and I want to know what you think. You know, what is your stance on this? And if I'm wrong, tell me, because I'm still kind of just shocked by it. So if you enjoy this kind of content, I guess make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.